Good afternoon, and welcome to Misericordia University's Winter Commencement 2024. Today, we celebrate Mercy Thrives, our 100th anniversary. We are about to begin the commencement exercises. Before we do, I have a few announcements. The university has employed a professional photographer who will take a photo of each graduate as she or he receives their diploma and when they leave the stage. Information on purchasing those photos is available on our website. Today's ceremony is being streamed live on the web. Friends and family not in attendance today can access the video via our webpage, misericordia.edu/commencement, or via YouTube on the Misericordia University YouTube channel. Please use the hashtag MUGRAD, that's MUGRAD, on all of your social media posts. And finally, to be polite to others here in the Anderson Center, I ask that you silence all cell phones and other electronic devices that make noise at this time. Winter Commencement 2024 will begin shortly.
Saw the man in black, spotlight in the air, heard 1,000 screams, saw my daddy stare. Feel like I've been running since the day that I was born. Eagle on my back, phoenix on my arm. This goes out to the drifters and all the dreamers ready to fly. All those wannabe rock stars lifting their guitars and painting the sky. Can you hear me? All you lost ones who are feeling lost ones, keep shining your light. This goes out to the wild cards and all of the wild hearts just like mine. Now listen, has anyone ever told you you'll never amount to anything? You're just wasting your time chasing the tail of a dragon kind of dream. But I'm here to tell you anything can happen in this life if you got the heart and the passion and a godlit fire inside. This goes out to the drifters and all of the dreamers ready to fly. All those wannabe rock stars lifting their guitars and painting the sky. Can you hear me? All you lost ones who are feeling lost ones, keep shining your light. This goes out to the wild cards and all of the wild hearts just like mine. Just like this goes out to the drifters and all of the dreamers who ready to fly. All you wanna-be rock stars are lifting your guitars and breaking the sky. Oh, this goes out to the drifters and all of the dreamers ready to fly. All you wanna-be rock stars lifting your guitars and painting the sky. All you lost ones, you are really lost ones, keep shining your light. This goes out to the wild cards, who's got a wild heart just like mine.
Good afternoon to all of you. This crowd knows it's after lunch. Want to keep awake, little energy. Good afternoon to all of you. Awesome. My name is David Ream, and I have the honor of serving Misericordia University as Vice President of Academic Affairs. I'm genuinely delighted to welcome all of you to the Misericordia University Winter 2024 Commencement Ceremony, part of our centennial celebration. For those standing, I ask that you remain standing. For those currently seated, I ask that you stand. First, we will receive an invocation, which will be offered by Dr. Carol Rittner, a member of our Board of Trustees and a Sister of Mercy. After the invocation, I ask that you please continue to stand for the Irish National Anthem in honor of our special guest, the Honorable Dr. Mary McAleese, former President of Ireland. We ask that you then remain standing for the U.S. National Anthem. Both anthems will be performed by Dr. Jennifer Black of our History Department and accompanied by Dr. Steve Bruskowski, Associate Professor in our Teacher Education Department. Sister Carol.
Let us pray. O mysterious God, you are present, even if we do not believe in you. Bless these women and men who are graduating from Misericordia University today. Fill them with your Holy Spirit as they continue to live out their lives in our complicated and conflicted world. Inspire them with commitment and courage to live out the core values we try to embody and model here at Misericordia University: mercy, justice, hospitality, and service. O mysterious God, remind these graduates that while they learned a lot in their Misericordia classes and clinics, in their curricular and extracurricular activities, everything they really need to know, they learned as children in kindergarten and grade school. Share everything, play fair, don't hit people, put things back where you found them, clean up your own mess, don't take things that aren't yours, and say you're sorry when you hurt somebody. O mysterious God, inspire these men and women who go forth from Misericordia today to always do what they can, where they are, with what they have, to make this world a better place for everyone. Amen.
say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the radiant red glare the monsters steeping air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land and the brave, and the hand of the brave.
Please be seated. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce the president of Misericordia University, Dr. Daniel J. Myers. Dr. Myers.
Good afternoon, and welcome to all of you. I'm so very pleased to see all of you as we honor the outstanding academic achievements of the class of 2024 and celebrate our heritage as a Mercy University. Joining us today is the Honorable Dr. Mary McAleese, former President of Ireland, and we are privileged to recognize her for her work. I welcome our trustees, faculty, staff, many alumni, student volunteers, and our leadership team. Commencement Day is distinctive in the rhythm of the academic year. We pause from our labors to commemorate and to celebrate in a highly visible and formal way those who have earned a degree through their thoughtfulness, hard work, and dedication. As we pause to celebrate you, our graduates, please also take time to pause and thank those who have helped you along the way. This is the time to reflect on what others have given you. Acknowledge them and strengthen those relationships, just as we all reflect on the Sisters of Mercy and their founder, Catherine Macaulay, who in Ireland on December 12, 1831, founded this order of women religious who went out into the world to work among the people for the betterment of all. I ask you to emulate the positive experiences you witnessed at Misericordia and share those with the world. Be brave, but be kind, and innovate in the spirit of Catherine Macaulay and the Sisters of Mercy. Students from our Misericordia community, empowered with their degrees, are ready to emerge into a challenging society as ethical servant leaders, ready to embrace a life of consequence. Graduates, you will always be part of our community, what we like to call a community realized. This is your home. Now, I would like to ask our Winter 2024 student speaker, Lindsay Coy, an occupational science major from Montrose, Pennsylvania, to come to the podium for her remarks. Lindsay?
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Lindsay Coy. First of all, I would like to thank the Chair of the Board of Trustees, Dr. Deborah Smith-Molesky, members of the board, President Myers, the officers of the university, the Honorable Dr. Mary McAleese, faculty, staff, my fellow students, and of course, all of the family and friends who came to support us today. Today is a special day for us all, and I am so honored to have been asked to represent my classmates and peers by speaking today. Although we all started on different paths and come from many different walks of life, we all ended up at the same institution, one that provided us with the opportunity to become educated and grow as we start this new era of our lives. In today's world, it is so important that we learn to think for ourselves using critical reasoning and logic, yet many are not afforded the same chance that we are. We all have had our own struggles and fought our own battles to get to this point today, but we should never overlook how lucky we are to have this opportunity in the first place. Misericordia University has provided us with the opportunity to better ourselves through acquiring knowledge while also learning about the core values that help us to become more caring, loving, and overall better individuals who strive for more. I don't think anyone could talk about our college without discussing our foundation, values, and charisms. Our college is founded on service to those in need who are poor, sick, and uneducated. We are benefiting directly from the Sisters of Mercy and their goals to educate the youth of the world, and it is our job to give back to them. We often get so caught up in our own little worlds that we forget to consider each other or realize that each one of us is our own person with our own lives. Our world is in so much turmoil, but our small institution has been a beacon to give resources to the poor, aid the sick, and teach the uneducated. The many clubs, organizations, and offices that take part in service have made such a difference in countless lives, while simultaneously teaching us as students how to help those in need. And that is a beautiful thing. This is something we should carry with us each and every day going forward. And we should remember the humanity that we all share first and foremost when we go out into the world, which Misericordia has instilled that in us. Speaking of those around us, I would also like to take a moment to acknowledge the people who supported us along the way. You all probably have someone in the crowd, whether they are in the audience or they will walk across the stage with you, who has provided you with the encouragement and support that you needed in times of struggle and in celebration. For those of you who might be alone today, just know that there are people who see you, and we are so proud of you for making it on your own. I know I would not be standing here today if it was not for my mom, dad, brother, grandparents, 2 best friends, classmates, professors, and those who provided me with unconditional love and support. There is not enough time in the day or air in my lungs to express my gratitude for all that they have done. So I will simply say thank you, and I love you more than words can say. Although we all may not know each other, I am so grateful that our paths were able to cross at this special place and on this special day. Each of our journeys forward will be different, whether you are continuing on to pursue further education or entering the workforce. Maybe you aren't sure yet, and that's okay too. No matter what your path for the future looks like, just remember to look back on this place and remember what Misericordia has taught you. Carry the values of mercy with you every day, and know that you will help those around you if you keep this in mind. Thank you all for your time, and congratulations to my fellow graduates.
Thank you, Lindsay. It is now my pleasure to introduce to you Dr. Deborah Smith-Molesky, Chair of our Board of Trustees. She and Dr. Myers will present our honorary degree.
President Myers, it is my pleasure to present to you the Honorable Dr. Mary McAleese, so that you may bestow upon her the honorary degree, Doctor of Humane Letters. Mary, come forward, please. Mary McAleese, as a dedicated leader, you served your country with distinction as president from 1997 to 2011, building relationships and working for peace. Additionally, your work in higher education and on social issues has been recognized for its significant impact on the people of Ireland and many around the world. The eldest of 9 children, you were the first Irish president from Northern Ireland. You grew up in Ardnoy, a sectarian flashpoint area of Belfast. A barrister and broadcast journalist by training, before becoming president, you were a Reed Professor of Criminal Law, Criminology, and Penology at Trinity College, Dublin, as well as Director of the Institute of Professional Legal Studies and first female Pro-Vice Chancellor at Queen's University of Belfast. You worked as a journalist in Irish radio and television and were a member of the board of Channel 4 and BBC of Northern Ireland. You are the author of 6 books. For many years prior to your election as president, you were involved in social justice matters for a range of issues, including support for women, sexual orientation protections, those incarcerated overseas, and insights into religious sectarianism. On retiring from office, you became a full-time student at the Pontifical Gregorian University in Rome, obtaining a doctorate in canon law. You chaired the European Union Commission's higher level group on the modernization of higher education, for which you were awarded the Universitas 21 Gilbert Medal. You returned to broadcasting in recent years, presenting film documentaries for RTE and the BBC. You currently serve as Chancellor of the University of Dublin, Trinity College. Over your illustrious career in higher education, you have held distinguished posts and received many awards. You are chair of the Von Hugel Institute of St. Edmund's College, Cambridge University, chair of the Ansari Institute of the University of Notre Dame, patron of the Bob Hawke Institute at the University of South Australia, and co-patron with your husband Martin of Ireland's 30% Club. Dr. McAleese, we are extremely pleased and privileged to honor you today. Dr. Myers.
And so, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Misericordia University, I do hereby confer upon the Honorable Dr. Mary McAleese the degree of Doctor of Humane Letters honoris causa, with all of the rights, honors, and privileges thereto appertaining. All right. This is a very special commencement. It's the 100th anniversary of this university, and so we thought we'd do something a little different. And so instead of a traditional commencement address, we're going to have a little chat instead. So we're very pleased.
Interrogation, perhaps.
And so we're going to get a chance to get to know President McAleese a little bit better. And I'm going to start because you have deep connections to the Mercy world. You were a Mercy girl. Could you tell us about that?
I have the scars. I'm an old Mercy girl. I started with the Mercy nuns when I was 5 years of age in the Convent of Mercy on the Crumlin Road in Belfast. And believe it or not, when I arrived here today, in the magic and mystery that is meeting total strangers, I met 2 young women, also from Belfast, who went to my school. I simply can't believe it. They're sitting down there in the front row among all the front row of the non-graduands. And I'm just amazed that they also survived. We did well, thanks to Mercy. We got a good start in life. In the Irish language, there is an expression called, which says, Tus mai isla na hibra. A good start is half the work. And so with the Mercy education that we got back then, we got a really good start in life. I have to say that all three of us, when we left Mercy at the age of 11, we apostatized and went to the Dominicans. Those Dominican nuns and the Mercy nuns were great educators, phenomenal educators, and it was particularly true of women. They were determined that we were going to live the kind of lives that were different from the lives of our mothers. My mother left school at 15, became a hairdresser at a time when there was no prospect of staying on at school because education was not free. I was fortunate. By the time I came into the world, the free second level education was introduced. And the Mercy nuns, and indeed the religious orders generally in Ireland, saw in that a phenomenal opportunity that if they grew the schools and if massified the opportunity, they could create phenomenal opportunities for cohorts of kids who otherwise might not have had that chance. So I'm very grateful to the Mercy nuns and the Dominican nuns for the opportunities they gave me. They wouldn't let us settle for our second best selves. They wanted us to be our first best selves. And I think in that they gave us great example.
I couldn't agree more, sister. Our sisters have been so, they've given so much to us, and everyone here, I think, reflects some of your thoughts about what Mercy has given to all of us. One thing that it has done is that it prepares us for challenges that are going to come in our lives, and our graduates have had some challenges here, no doubt. It's a great accomplishment to get your degrees today, but you're going to face other adversity, and I know that you have faced a lot of adversity in different ways throughout your life and your career. And I was wondering if you would like to comment a little bit on your own resilience and determination and what advice you might give to our students as they face challenges as they go out into the world.
Well, I think you maybe heard, I'm the oldest of 9 children, born in a working class family in Belfast, which was a sectarian quagmire. It's as simple as that. Sister Deirdre, who is here all the way from Derry City. There you go, Sister Deirdre. You were born into a sectarian quagmire too. The 2 main cities of Northern Ireland were dreadful places to grow up, particularly if you were a Catholic. Why? Because they were based, and still is, it's a partitioned part of Ireland. Ireland, I'm the president of the independent part of Ireland, which is not the part I grew up in. I grew up in Northern Ireland, in a parish that was absolutely, and still is, riven by sectarian politics. Thankfully, we have peace now, but for most of our lives, and it'll be true for Deirdre and myself, we grew up with what was effectively a civil war. We had death every day, we had bombings, we had paramilitary confrontations. It was a very unpleasant place in which to grow up, and that all those tensions were around politics and the politics of religion, regrettably, or a toxic mix of religion and politics. So I say I was the oldest of 9, and we lost, in Belfast, we used the expression, we lost our home, as if we kind of took our home and mislaid it somewhere. But in fact, what happened was we were intimidated out of our house in a sectarian attack. It's actually a series of sectarian attacks, the first of which we ignored because we were stupid enough to think they wouldn't come back. First time they came with bricks, then they came with bullets. And my father had a business, a pub. His business was firebombed. A young woman was killed in that bomb. And my father, who had left our home that morning, his usual self, unfortunately, because of her death, he saw her fall, didn't realize that she was dead, thought she had just fainted. but in fact she had died. She was hit by a piece of shrapnel, mother of 3 young children. Her brother was one of my close friends. And my father suffered, I might call a cathartic episode, as a result of which he suffered for a long time afterwards from catatonic depression. He didn't speak, actually, for quite some time after that. I've always thought that to go out in the morning, happy, and then come back not speaking. My father sat for the next number, probably the best part of 2 years, just looking into the fire and saying nothing, which was pretty awful. And then you probably, many of you, you've ever heard of a woman called Margaret Thatcher. She wouldn't have been even though she was an example of a woman making it to the top of politics, she wasn't the kind of woman that I would have liked to get to the top of politics, can I put it that way? She was a British Prime Minister, tough as old boots, not particularly sympathetic to Ireland. And but my father, the one thing he used to do was he listened to the radio, a little transistor radio. He listened to the politics every day. And I came home from university one day and my mother said to me, "You're not going to believe this. Your father started talking again." And I said, "God, that's brilliant. And what did he say?" She said, "Well, what he said was, 'Would you shut up to hell, you old bitch?'" I said, "What? What?" I said, "He said that to you?" And she said, "No, he didn't say it to me. He said it to some woman on the radio called Margaret Thatcher." So we've always credited Margaret Thatcher with the miracle of my father being restored to life again, as it were, because he did. He was effectively restored to life. And we were fortunate in many, many ways. Although my brothers and some of my sisters suffered fairly severe physical attacks, and our home was physically attacked, in the end, we survived. Not all my friends did. On the road that we lived on and where we lost our home when gentlemen came and emptied 2 machine guns the contents of 2 machine guns through our windows on the Feast of the Immaculate Conception. So Our Lady was still quite close to us that day because these were Protestant paramilitaries who were attacking our home, but they didn't know that was a feast. In those days, it was what was called, it was a feast day, and we were obliged to go to Mass. So my family was all at Mass while the Protestant paramilitaries were trying to kill us. So just shows you, they were our neighbours, and they didn't know an awful lot about what went on in our neighbours' homes and thinking. But on that road today, tragically, despite the peace, there is a wall that runs up the entire road. The wall is 10 feet, 12 feet high, to keep the Protestants and the Catholics from encountering each other still. These are neighbours, who live a few doors away from each other, but to a large extent have lived in abysmal ignorance of each other, fear of each other. And so when I became president, having grown up with the concept of misericordia, of mercy and compassion, I was determined that I could not be a president who would accept those estrangements, because these were all Christians, allegedly, after all. And we would try and befriend each other, not in order, I never did anything while I was in office as president that was designed to turn somebody into my way of thinking. I didn't want to turn them into Irish Catholic nationalists, people who were British Protestant Unionists. I just wanted them to be friends. I just wanted them to be neighbours. And I wanted us to be friendly enough that we could talk hard politics eventually without walking away from each other, without breakdown, because we'd always lived with breakdown. And we'd always lived with what I might call raw politics, where people said mean things, and every raw or mean word, you know this yourself from your own lives. If somebody says something raw or mean to you, you want to say something even rawer and meaner back. Raw and mean doesn't make you, it doesn't make for tranquil relationships. So we've had to learn over the years, and this is one of the big challenges for me over the years, was to learn to be more sensitive to others who were hostile to me and what I represent, and to learn to love, forgive, and still reach out.
What are some ways that we can, all of us and our graduates can contribute to that opportunity to connect with one another and to participate with each other in ways that would be helpful when we have these very difficult times? You played a very important behind-the-scenes role in the peace process, and I'm wondering, what are some of the things that you did and that maybe we could emulate to try to contribute to peace building?
I think probably the most important thing that I did, along with my husband, who, sorry that he's not able to be here, he was to be, but unfortunately he's nursing a brand new knee at the moment in a hospital in Ireland. And I hope it's a dancing knee, because he never got one of those before. Anyway, I'm really, really hoping for that. And but anyway, he like me, he lost his home also. And you know, bully boys from a Protestant paramilitary tradition came and took the Sacred Heart picture off his parents' wall and trampled it into the ground. And so that was his background. And both of us, independently of each other, came to the conclusion that facing into that kind of provocation by being nasty back was just a recipe for disaster. And so I believe in everyday life that to bring graciousness to that everyday life, to bring diplomacy, I'm not talking about being a coward. I'm talking, because I stand my ground, to stand one's ground, but to do it in a way that does not personalize, that sticks to facts or issues, and that insists on being curious about the other. The person who disagrees with you really profoundly is always a mystery, really. You know, very often growing up in Northern Ireland, I would look at some of our politicians from the other side and think, how can they possibly say that? How can they think that? And then I started to say to myself, well, the only way I'm going to find that out is by asking them, befriending them, because unfortunately, there is, I think, a very human thing of daring to presume that you know what they think. And particularly when you live cheek by jowl, as we did in Northern Ireland and still do, there is the tendency to presume you know what they think, and it's not good. You think you know their history and you disapprove. And it just seems to me that that's an awful waste of a life. One of the great things I've learned about life, and it's not a good lesson, but it's a real lesson, is how desperately short it is. No matter how long you live, and it doesn't matter how long you live, and many of us will live much longer lives than generations past, doesn't matter. It's very short. The time we have in our lives available to us to do something good, something life-enhancing for ourselves and for others is very, very short. And it's the same length of time as the opportunity to do bad things and to mess up and to create chaos. So we've got to make that choice. And that choice is to use the time that we have to be life-enhancing. And one of the things that makes, for me, life most enhancing is to be very curious about the otherness of others, whoever that is. Not to be swayed by stereotypes, not to be swayed by fear or hatred of the other, but to try and profoundly dig into what it is about that person that I'm fearful of. What is it about me that makes them fearful of me? How can I create encounters where I can persuade them that I'm actually not a bad person? How can they persuade me that they're not bad people? And more importantly, how can we learn to inhabit the same space without changing each other, not changing each other's politics, not changing each other's faith or beliefs, but changing each other in such a way that we can live as good neighbours. And I think we can do that. We're doing that in Ireland, thankfully now, in a way that we did not do for generations. The new generations are now able to talk, I would say hard talk, without breakdown. They are learning about each other in ways that we never did growing up. And I think that's the gift of curiosity about the otherness of others, and the gift of generous curiosity, I think is probably one of the most important things that we can have in our lives.
That's wonderful, President McAleese. And you're preaching mercy to us right now. I just love to hear that. This is a celebration of education today, though, and
Yes.
Education played a very important role in your life, and even becoming a professor yourself at a very young age. I'm wondering, to wrap us up here today, if you might tell us a little bit about the role education played for you and what importance you see for it in our world today.
I can safely say education, well, first of all, it transformed my own life. The opportunity to have a good education, to get to college, to get into a profession, to advance in that profession, all propelled by this thing we call education. But it wasn't just me. It was my generation, it was a watershed. I hate academic hats. Sorry, shouldn't have said that, but honestly, they are the bane of my life. They keep falling off. Apologies. So if the hat falls off, it's going to stay falling off, right? But when I was, and I mentioned that my father left school at 14, my mother at 15, and they would have loved to have had the education I had and the opportunities I had. And there's a great poet from the city of Sister Deirdre called Seamus Heaney. And many of you might have heard of him. Many of your English majors will have heard of Seamus Heaney, Nobel laureate in poetry. And one of his best poems is called From the Canton of Expectation. And in that, he describes brilliantly the impact of education and educational opportunity. He describes his parents' generation, really my parents' generation, as living under high banked clouds of resignation. That's not a nice place to live. Just to be resigned to never being much in life, to always being second class, because that's what Catholics were in Northern Ireland, to always being the oppressed, to never having a chance. And then he says, suddenly, this change of mood. And that change of mood happened when there came into, thank God, legislative existence, free second level education, and in our case, free third level education. Imagine, completely free, wonderful. And now he says, suddenly this change of mood, and lives that he said might have, heads that might have wasted their lives away against the flanks of milking cows were now busy. And they were busy doing other things. But he describes that generation that got those chances that their parents didn't get as having intelligences brightened and unmannerly as crowbars. And that's what education gives us. It gives us the tools to be as unmannerly as crowbars. You use a crowbar to rid the path ahead of you of obstacles, the big stones in your way, and believe me, you'll meet many of them still on the path through life. Women will meet the patriarchy, they'll meet paternalism, they'll meet sexism. Men will meet all sorts of challenges of different natures, and they will also, they'll meet bullying. All of us will meet all sorts of challenges in life. I think particularly for young men too, there are the challenges of coping with a world that sometimes can seem quite hostile to them, precisely because the gender debate, can get quite heated. And where do they fit into that? And how do they push through that to a world where men and women live with one another as complete equals and with parity of esteem, helping each other, encouraging each other? I grew up, and still to an extent live in a world where the world, it flies on one wing, one wing. I'm a member of, since I was two weeks old when I was baptized into the Catholic Church. And a growing realization that it was an organization, a brilliant organization, the biggest NGO in the world, extraordinary, wonderful work done, but still flying on one wing when God gave it two, And worse than that, a lot of the time the one wing that is flying is trying its best to keep the other, flapping around to try and keep the other one down. That's just not a good way to live. And it's wasteful of energy and it's wasteful of talent. So these intelligences, brightened and unmannerly as crowbars, are empowered by education, given the confidence of education, the status that comes from being members of professions, of experience, of skill, of insight and ingenuity. all of that used to move the stones that are in your way, and you use your brain power. You see, I came from a culture that said, if there's a problem, you use violence to get rid of it. And I learned the stupidity of that, watched the stupidity of it. And every one of us can still see that at work in the world. We can see how many places in the world still think you can solve problems through the use of violence. And that's so wasteful, utterly wasteful of the lives and the energy that God has given. It's not humanly decent. So my advice to anybody here is use the time that you have and the ingenuity that you have and the degrees that you have and the ability and the friendships to crowbar out of the way the obstacles to just decent, kind, happy, contented living, where we are responsible for each other, where the rich help the poor, where the poor do not feel second class, but are elevated to parity of esteem with everyone. And that's what I got from Mercy. That was the charism of Mercy. I lived in a very poor, one of the poorest areas of Northern Ireland, hugely poor, and unfortunately, the sectarian deaths in Northern Ireland, it was the capital of sectarian deaths, my parish. So a lot of hurt, a lot of healing needed. And I am so glad that when I went to school, just a couple of bus stops down the road, the first sign I saw going through the door was Mater Misericordiae, Mother of Mercy, Mother of Mercy. And although our headmistress at times did not take that too seriously, yes, she was not a woman noted for mercy and compassion to any of us poor students, or indeed to the staff, may I say. She was quite a tough lady. But I was fortunate she wasn't the only one. There were many I met through Mercy who were that, who lived Mercy, were witnesses to its power. And importantly, because at the end of the day, what is mercy? Only the translation, for those of us who believe in Christianity, of the great commandment to love one another. That's all it is. It's the translation of that into action.
Very good. Thank you so much, President McAleese. We have been so honored.
Thank you. Thank you, and congratulations, all of you.
Thank you so much for your words of inspiration. It's wonderful to have you with us, and congratulations again on your honorary degree.
Thank you so much for the privilege of being here and part of this. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. McAleese, for joining in our anniversary celebration today and engaging with all of us assembled. The image of intellect as a crowbar is something that is going to stick with me for a while. I'm glad that you used it. Keep that in your minds, all of you. At this point in the ceremony, we turn to focus specifically on our graduating students. First, the university has recognized those students who have been inducted into honor societies. I'd like to bring to your attention the names of these students and the honor societies into which they've been inducted. They are listed in today's program. At this time, we will present the individual diplomas to the graduates. President Myers, the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Arts. In biochemistry, Gannon L. Dufresne, summa cum laude. In biology, Samantha Jean Mahoney, magna cum laude. In chemistry, Isabel Julia Rickner, cum laude. In environmental studies, Carly Marie Tabone, magna cum laude. In government law and national security, Sean Riley O'Doherty. In medical and health humanities, Jenna Elizabeth Desch, summa cum laude. Hayden McGuire Klopp. Kenna Elizabeth Mensinger, summa cum laude. Caitlin Resigliano. Jacob Eden Samuel Scher. In professional studies, Francesca Marie Augustine. President Myers, the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science. In accounting, Adam Elias Korm, cum laude. In biology, McKenna Elizabeth Galvin, summa cum laude. In business administration, Stephen Kenneth Benson. Chris Dutko. Terrence Finan. Connor Gunderson, magna cum laude. Matthew Alfred Hodder. Aiden Paul Hopkins, cum laude. Garrett Mason Krebs, summa cum laude. Brody Ty Muniz, magna cum laude. Riley David Piontkowski, summa cum laude. Trey William Reinhardt, magna cum laude. Kyle Adam Sienkiewicz. Tyler Dale Stuck, summa cum laude. Kyle G. Tash. Kyle Thomas Trapp, cum laude. Not here. Sean? Sean Brian Wallace, cum laude. You're not Richard. You're Connor. In computer science, Connor J. Spencer, summa cum laude. In early childhood and special education, Riley Shea Kuhn. Emily Carolyn Howells. Jared. In healthcare management, Jared Caden Hoffman. Bailey Kathleen Hussey, magna cum laude. Ethan Chase Menekene, cum laude. Colin Joseph Porosky, summa cum laude. Alexandra Madison Snyder, summa cum laude. Victoria Marie Teneri, cum laude. Ralph John Tocco. In health science, Vincenzo Emilio Impressa. Braden Jonathan Jerome. Ethan James Shalansky, cum laude. Kylie Alexis Stroop, magna cum laude. In medical imaging, Sydney Elizabeth Francella. Alexandra Rose Graziano. Chloe Renee Hanselman, magna cum laude. Carol Lynn Kiefer, cum laude. Dana Christine Macco. Brianna Lynn Misson, magna cum laude. Sarah Catherine Malaya, magna cum laude. Alexis Pelchar. Janelle Renee Smith, magna cum laude. Rebecca Marie Spott. In occupational science, Lydia Grace Barber, summa cum laude. Sarah Mackenzie Brienza with a second major in psychology. Ariana Catherine Brown. Chase Evan Kavanaugh. Did a great job. Lindsay Marie Coy, summa cum laude. Mary Kate Farrell. Bridget Ann Ferris, summa cum laude. Jenna H. Flynn, cum laude. Labella E. Gilbert. Kayla Marie Gonsalves. Emily Grace Carilla, magna cum laude. Emily Jo Kester. Shannon Elizabeth McDowell. Morgan Lynn Mixa. Casey Reichert, cum laude. Kinsley Vanessa Schmeckenbecker. Bria Olga Schneider, cum laude. Olivia E. Spencer, summa cum laude. Joelle Elena Spirach, summa cum laude. Bryn Rose Stambaugh. Emily Milana Sushin, summa cum laude. Olivia Catherine Vole. Caitlin Marie Wesp, magna cum laude. In professional studies, Diane Marie Grahowski. In psychology, Lindsay Taylor Arms, summa cum laude. Julia Ray Beck, summa cum laude. Nicole Alexandra Bell, cum laude. Chloe Melissa Captoni, magna cum laude. Jessica Lynn Cleveland, summa cum laude. Adriana Maria Gilgar, magna cum laude. Catherine Christine Havrilla. Madeline Renee Herman, summa cum laude. DeBrosia. Mia DeBrosia Jones. Thanks for your patience. Joshua Kane, cum laude. Isabella Noel Levent, cum laude. Alexandra Lopez, magna cum laude. Lydia M. Peeler. Jalen Neville Rouse. Emily Elizabeth Shaw, magna cum laude. Sadrina Lynn Stockslager. Lindsay Marie Stone. Say it again. Mariah Danielle Wormuth. Michaela Abigail Zabrowski. In sport management, Travis Lee Burton, magna cum laude. Kyle J. Gano, magna cum laude. President Myers, the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Bachelor of Science in Nursing. Neither. Thank you. Sarah Louise Barnes. Andriana Christoferatos, summa cum laude. Ephraim Christoferatos. Christina Kathleen Conley. Shannon Crisp. Kendall D'Elia. James Joseph DeRoche Jr. Kristen L. Eggert. Matthew Thomas Evans. Julia Marie Hafley. Melanie Rose Hall. Elizabeth Rose Hess. Amanda L. Holder. Fatima Lara Ruiz. Kristen Lutecki. Sarah Michelle Machi, cum laude. Kelsey Elise Macara. Is Taylor here? Kathleen Paige O'Connor. Oma Rebecca Persad. Brianna Helen Pickens. Shelley Paust Keese. Jacelis Pozo Guzman. Alicia Randolph. Aaron Rischel. Morgan Rogers. Kathleen Shovlin. Nicole Lynn Skatuler. Nora Chow Wukanga. Amber Rose Zelno. No Silas? In MBA. Beautiful. Dr. Myers, the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Masters of Business Administration. Jordan Avery Bass. Logan S. Baxter. Brandy Nicole Boyum. Caitlin Hall. Emma Marie Pine. Paul. No. Paul Michael Hearn. Hi. Tyler Leonard. There you go. Aaron Michael Pernetta. Alicia Renee Stavitsky. Deanna Willison. Give that a second. Andrew David Zorn. President Myers, the following candidate has completed the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Physician Assistant Studies. Alexis Nicole Wyant. Congratulations. And the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Master of Science in Occupational Therapy. Victoria L. Fisher. Rebecca Gregg. Kimberly Carolyn King. Stephanie C. Mondesir. Dr. Morrison. And the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Doctor of Nursing Practice. Alexander R. Badu. Amy Lynn Benavage. Stacy A. Connell. Jennifer Lynn Dufford. Wendy Guzensky. Maria Enriqueta Reisek. Daniel Joseph Satterfield. The following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree Doctor of Occupational Therapy. Gabrielle Lynn Bocchicchio. Ashley Corrigan. Megan Hazelton. Emily Witz. And the following candidates have completed the requirements for the degree of Doctor of Physical Therapy. Shelby Ann Britton. Sean Patrick Berg. Caitlin Jean Baczynski. Andrea Estelle Carlson. Jared Cipriano. Devin Nicholas Doherty. Zoe Ann Farr. Michaela Marie Fasolino. Ashlyn Mairead Fitzgerald. Brianna Elizabeth Fox. Dane Gregory France. Tyler Bradley Gurman. Brandon Matthew Istvan. Zachary K. Jane. Eric Thomas Jeffries. Zachary Johnson. John Patrick Kelly. Samantha Christine Lubin. Caden Lee Martell. Matthew Charles McCaffrey. Kristen Taylor McCluskey. Brianna Marie McPeak. Matthew Jordan Myers. Alana O'Malley. Justin Lewis Acapinti. Cheryl Mahendra Kumar Parmar. Katrina Nicole Redline. Jillian Mary Rogers. Kyle Romanovsky. Jacqueline Stack. Alexandria Steele. Kaylee A. Stearns. Spencer John Sunderberg. Tara L. Sweeney. Nicholas Michael Taranzi. Thomas Grant Vaccaro. Wayne Owen Van Newkirk. Alexa Rose Wagner. Shannon Paige Williams. Congrats. Jason Thomas Winters. We now have a moment of brief pause while the candidates work through the line and get their pictures taken. So I'll just take a deep breath for a minute and we'll be back to you very shortly. They got a little ahead of them. Could slow it down a tiny bit. You did great. Three left. Yeah, we're almost there. It's fine. Brilliant. May I please ask that the candidates for degrees rise? Dr. Myers is Vice President of Academic Affairs of Misericordia University. I present to you this, the class of 2024, and recommend that you confer upon them the degrees for which they have successfully completed all requirements.
Your recommendation is accepted, Vice President Ream. By virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees of Misericordia University, I do hereby confer upon you the degree for which you have completed all the requirements as determined by the faculty and the department in which you have qualified, with all honors, privileges, and responsibilities thereunto pertaining. Congratulations.
And graduates, to make this official, though most of you have already done it, please switch your tassels from the right side to the left. Congratulations again. You may be seated. At this time, I ask that Christelle Hoffman, President of the Misericordia University Alumni Association, come to the podium to preside over the induction of the new graduates into the association. Christelle. Nice to see you. I didn't see you earlier.
Good afternoon, everyone. Oh, thank you. Dr. McAleese, Dr. Myers, members of the Board of Trustees, members of the Alumni Association Board of Directors, members of faculty and staff, graduates of Misericordia University, family, friends, honored guests. I am Christelle Hoffman, an alumna of class of 2013. I am honored to serve as president of the Misericordia University Alumni Association during our 100th anniversary as an institution of higher education. It is therefore my distinct privilege today to preside over the induction of the winter class of 2024 into the Alumni Association. On behalf of more than 20,000 graduates of Misericordia University residing around the world, I extend congratulations and best wishes to you and the new graduates for having achieved your goals at Misericordia. I commend you for the outstanding contributions you have made to Misericordia, demonstrated these past years by your service, personal commitments, and academic achievements. I ask you to become involved in the activities of your Alumni Association and urge you to continue to promote the same spirit and dedication you have shown during your years at Misericordia. I ask now for all members of the class of 2024 to please stand again. In accordance with the bylaws of the Misericordia University Alumni Association and by the authority vested in me by the association, I hereby declare the graduates of class of 2024 to be life members of Misericordia University's Alumni Association, and I beseech you to be and to remain loyal supporters of this university, which sends you forth the 15th day of December 2024, to better serve yourselves, your professions, your community, your country, and your God. You may now proudly call yourselves alumni of Misericordia University. Congratulations.
Before we hear our closing benediction, we'd like to share two special songs with you. First is Ireland's Call. That, as we've come to understand, is a song performed at sporting events and other occasions to symbolize unity and togetherness, a sentiment we share for our community, our country, and our world. Might I ask that as the singing occurs, we stand, please.
Come the day and come the hour, come the power and the glory. We have come to answer our country's call. From the 4 proud provinces of Ireland, 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 together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we answer Ireland's call. Ireland, Ireland, together standing tall. Shoulder to shoulder, we answer Ireland's call. We answer Ireland's call.
Thank you, Dr. Black, Dr. Bruskowski, and the whole chorus there. Few notes, and then I'll give you a sense as to what's next. After this ceremony, as you exit the Anderson Center, we ask that you please not stop to congregate anywhere near the door, as this will delay the exit for all the other guests. Assuming that you've agreed upon students and families to meet in a certain place, I ask that it be at least across the road and probably, in light of today's weather, somewhere indoors, a little more remote. As long as we can get everybody out, we'll be able to clear out relatively easily. Now I ask that you remain standing for the singing of the alma mater, featuring again Dr. Jen Black and Dr. Steve Bruskowski. The words for the alma mater are printed on page 25 of your program in the back cover. So we will now do the alma mater. To conclude our ceremony, Sister Yvette Diaz, a Sister of Mercy and a member of our Board of Trustees, will deliver our benediction. Sister Yvette.
Gracious and loving God, we ask you to bless our graduates, their families, as they celebrate this accomplishment. Bless the faculty, staff, and administration that has accompanied them throughout their years at Misericordia. Bless our graduates with courage to be bearers of compassion and mercy, to serve others that are in need. May they understand that true wisdom is not measured by the degrees they have earned, but by their depth of their understanding, the breadth of their empathy, and their willingness to listen and learn. May they be guided by the values of Misericordia University, of mercy, service, justice, and hospitality, to be a sign of inspiration to those they meet. May they each be bold in their dreams, always discerning what is right, good, and just. May they use their gifts wisely. May your Spirit, O God, guide them in the next chapter of their lives to walk with integrity, compassion, and mercy. May the Spirit of God be with you always. Amen.